Welcome to POL Classics. Be sure to check out the best of POL from over the years. It's at its most popular day and time, and guess what? It's only on WNEP+.
WNEP proudly presents the premier outdoor show in northeastern and central Pennsylvania. Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, your window to the great outdoors. Tonight on Pennsylvania Outdoor Life.
We'll head to central Pennsylvania to check out the wild game feeders and their long-standing tradition. And we'll share with you the incredible work of a local artist.
Put on your hiking boots. Pennsylvania Outdoor Life starts right now.
Hello and welcome to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. I'm Ken Hunter and I'm here with Don Jacobs. And Jake, this is the last Sunday of winter.
Yeah, who says who the woodchuck?
Can you believe it? Technically, it's the last Sunday of winter anyway. So
well, I can't believe spring started on Friday.
Still a lot of snow out there.
Unbelievable.
Yeah, unbelievable.
And how about the animals?
Yeah, you wonder how they made out this winter, and how are they doing now?
How are they doing now? How do they make out?
Right.
There's one group in the Williamsport area called the Wild Game Feeders. Now, for years, they've been helping out wildlife by feeding them corn. Whether you believe in it or not is not important. This group's heart and soul is in it. Let's hear from Stephen Berger from the Wild Game Feeders.
What we do is we sell a membership for $3 throughout the month, and we have a corn feeding in January and February. We give out roughly 4 feedings, which approximately get about a bushel and a half corn. We get roughly 400 or 500 people to come to this location on any given Saturday and pick up corn, and they go out and place it in a feeder wherever they'd like. It keeps us going. We have a total of 4 feeding locations today. We have one at Consolidated Sportsman's Club out 87. We have one in Toombs Run up near Waterville. We have one here in Trout Run, and we also have one in Cascade. Today in Trout Run, we expect about 6 tons of corn to be shoveled out to people. Total for the year, we're looking probably around roughly 45 tons of corn this year between all 4 locations that we'll give.
And that was purchased through memberships?
That was purchased through memberships, just from membership drives. Hasn't changed much since 1960 when we were founded. It started out as $1. Now the membership now is $3.
And again, the membership gets you what?
4 feedings. It'll get you roughly 41 raffles on a raffle ticket, a button badge, and a good time, and a lot of friends. In 1960, my grandfather up in Steam Valley found 8 dead turkeys and a couple deer. And him and a few guys got together and they decided to start the Wild Game Feeders Association. Back then, they had the help of the Game Commission. They coincided and worked very well with the Game Commission. And at the time, we had 5,000 members back in 1960. The last few years, we started to dwindle off. Our members were getting older. Some of them are in their 70s and 80s. They just couldn't do it anymore. I got a phone call and they told me that the Game Feeders was ready to dissolve, and would I like to get involved? Well, since I became president 3 years ago, we went from roughly 400 memberships to about 1,400 memberships. So we're coming back, and we're getting a lot more people involved, and we're having a good time. We're helping the animals in the cause.
You lost one of your senior members. Tell me about him.
We lost one of our members. He was 93. He was with us right from the beginning. His name was Nick Casale. He's a valued member. We're going to miss him. All 3 of my sons will be here. My wife will be here. Other men's sons will be here. A lot of families will be here. You'll find that most of the people come here are family. We get a lot of hunting clubs that come here. 8 to 80 years old, people are here. What we're trying to do is we're trying to give the game a little bit of boost through these winter months. We're not out to save any large amounts of wild game. What our goal is to make sure that these final couple weeks in the woods that there's food. We have a lot of snow here right now, and underneath that snow is roughly 3 or 4 inches of solid ice. And it's hard for a deer, a turkey, a squirrel to get through. And what our goal is to keep a few animals alive. We're not out to do any whitetail management or anything like that. We just want to give the animals a little something to help them make it through the hard time. We know it's not nutritional, a good nutritional value, but like I said before, it is something to help them make it through the last couple weeks or the last month or two of winter. Any food is better than no food. That's our basic, we want to keep what we have alive.
And this isn't the Deer Feeders Association.
No.
This is a wild game.
This is wild game feeders. We feed everything from turkey, deer, squirrel, chipmunks, birds, pretty much anything that'll eat the corn.
Now, where are these going?
To Drums in Luzerne County.
You came all the way up here?
Yeah.
Are you a member of this club, too?
My father-in-law is. So we've been doing it for probably, how long have we been married? 6 years now. So we've been doing it like 6
made
years.
it a family affair.
Yeah. We drive up and see the mother and father-in-law and get our corn and have a good weekend.
Most of the people have feeders on their property. They'll go out and put it in their feeders. We have quite a few hunting clubs that come out. They take it up into their clubs and feed it. We don't do any feeding on state property. Everything that we do is on a private property basis, homeowners, different hunting clubs and stuff like that.
I think if you check your watch, it is exactly 11 o'clock.
Exactly 11 o'clock and we went through 6 tons of corn.
Unbelievable. Look at that. Right down to the last bag. Look at that.
Until 2004, that's the final shovel.
Nice job. That's incredible. Steve Berger and the guys over there from the Wild Game Feeders Association, Ken.
Wow.
357 members showed up that day, hand shoveled 6 tons of corn, plus the other locations that they had there. And I'll tell you what, they're going to be in our Pennsylvania Outdoor Life Expo, and they're going to be selling memberships and telling people why they believe in corn feeding in the middle of the winter like that.
The weather was miserable that day, and they still had a great turnout.
Oh, kids and older people showing up with bags. It was an incredible turnout.
And they're not done. They're going to do this some more, right?
Well, they're done for this year. They'll continue to sell memberships, and then right after the muzzleloader season next year, they will then start feeding again, 4 feedings. And again, my hats are off to you guys.
Well, they are. I know there's a lot of controversy about it, but this was a tough winter. It probably was a big help to have that corn.
If it held them over, it's fine, right?
Hey, we're going to go to a break, and when we come back from the break, we're going to take a look at a charcoal artist.
POL Classic, we'll have much more of it on WNEP Plus right after this. Welcome back to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. Again, I'm Don Jacobs along with Ken Hunter. And right now we're talking more and more about expos and about having fun with people and seeing some great artists out there. But we're also talking about field staff members like our senior one.
Hey, and I like that senior member. That means I'm not. So.
The senior member, Mike Stevens.
I like that. Hope he stays a long time. Why, Mike is going to be introducing us to another artist. Art's one of my favorite subjects. Mike is going to introduce us to an artist in Northumberland County.
The bald eagle, if you manage to find one out in the wild, is truly something to see. Soaring or merely resting, an eagle can hold your attention for a good long time. To truly enjoy them, they are best seen outdoors, in their natural environment. Of course, as much as we'd like, that can't always happen. Work, for example, gets in the way of eagle watching. Well, let me offer an alternative. From a slow and steady hand, guided by a most observant eye, comes the work of Al Zajic. Deep black lines fade to gray, then change yet again countless times across the face of this piece. That is the way of Al's work. His tool of choice is the most ordinary number 2 medium pencil. What he does with it in his Trevorton studio is far from ordinary. If you ask an artist how long it has taken him or her to learn an art, they will often reply, a lifetime. That is the case with Al.
I was in bed a lot, and I was out of school a lot, and I was sketching in bed all the time, you know. And then I love nature and everything, so I just more or less stuck with it.
He was 8 years old. You can't help but admire people who keep on going no matter what. Despite setbacks along the way, despite working at his art while he worked at a variety of jobs, despite the fact that he never had any formal training in art, Al is finally developing a reputation for his work.
And sketched here and there, and yes, I taught myself, and it's been a long, hard road.
Someone will say there is an overnight success, but that isn't true. As any artist can tell you, it is often a long, winding, hard road between a dream and success.
It's like I broke a lot of canvases and ripped up a lot of papers, but I stuck to it.
Al used to do a great deal of his work in oil, and that was interesting. But one day he came across some plain old pencils, things most of us used before ballpoints and computers, and something clicked. He thought for the first time about using them to draw with. Well, he hasn't done much in oil since. He will create a piece using a photo you give him, but mostly Al's interests are in the outdoors. In effect, he spends the time out there when we can't. I've seen any number of artists over the years, and it never fails to amaze me that someone is capable of producing small slices of life so faithfully. The eagle soars on paper or simply rests. We never see enough of these, never seem to spend enough time outdoors, never seem to be as close to the earth as we want to be. These pieces by Al Zajic certainly won't change any of that, but then they don't have to. Sometimes very close to real is close enough.
Mike, thanks a lot. That was a great story. You know, Al does a great job.
Yes, he does.
And black and white art is making a big comeback at shows and things like that. People are sort of getting away from the color a little bit, and the basics of a good old pencil, and Al handles it very well, making a big comeback these days in wildlife.
Well, I liked Al's work because it made it sound like I could hear that gobbler going ow right off the bat. So I
He captured that one just right.
Excellent.
We'll have even more POL Classics on WNEP Plus right after this.
Welcome back to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. You know, we're not going to let you forget about the Pennsylvania Outdoor Life Expo, and we're not going to let you forget about the opening of the Pennsylvania trout season, which everybody's getting excited about.
Trout season is upon us, and there's a lot of ways to catch trout, and one of our field staff members, Jim Kostalnek, is going to show us how to do it with a fly rod.
So many people ask me, Cos, what kind of rods do I need to fish in the waters of Pennsylvania? And I can explain this in 3 different ways. A small, lightweight, 8-foot, 2-weight rod with a full flex is a rod that's perfect for little brook trout streams and smaller waters throughout Pennsylvania. This 9-foot, 5-weight is a tip flex rod. It's a little stiffer. This is real nice for casting dry flies and streamers for trout in bigger waters. Waters like the Delaware to Susquehanna, even casting for some smallmouths. And then when we get into our 3rd rod, or action should I say, we're talking about a tip flex action, as you can see in the end here. And this rod is a lot stronger. It has a tougher backbone. It's used for casting big flies, maybe for largemouth bass, big deer hair flies, and also casting big heavy streamers for larger fish. So what we have is we have a cross section. We have small rod, lightweight rod, 2-weight for brook trout, a 5-weight for some of your rainbows and browns in your bigger water, and your bigger fish, largemouth bass and smallmouths and some stripers. This is a 7-weight rod, a lot stiffer action, used to yank those fish right out of the lily pads. And I'm Jim Stalnick, and this is your tip of the week.
Jim, thanks for those great tips on the fly rods. You know, I think the simple way to do it is buy one of every one.
Oh, yeah, if you can afford that.
Or 2 of every one.
The more simple way is to stop and ask Jim, which one should I buy?
Yeah, which one should I get? Now I'll get all of them anyway.
There you go.
That's some great tips, though.
But you know what? There's a lot of people that just don't want to use fly rods. They want to use spinning rods. They want to have lures instead of bait. And to figure out what lures you should have for the opening day, let's go to field staff member Ray Sahaki.
If you're headed out this trout season and you don't want to use live bait or minnows or any of the live stuff, I have a few lures that might help you. One of them is a Colorado Thomas spoon, silver or gold, and the gold works good in the cloudy weather. Silver is better in the sunny weather. Another lure I would highly recommend is the MEPS Aglia spinner in the silver color or the gold color. That's another very good lure. And the final lure is the Johnson silver spoon. And I have one little tip I'd like to offer on making that work a little better if you're not getting the bites. And it would be, you take your Johnson silver spoon and you clamp a little weight on the back of the spoon. Just clamp it on the back end of the spoon, and that'll change the action if you're getting short strikes. Good luck in the up-and-coming trout season. I'm Ray Sahaki. That's my field tip of the week.
Ray, thanks for that great tip. You know, Ray Sahaki and Jim Kostolnik will be doing seminars throughout the expo on their expertise,
right?
Along with some great prizes that we've already started telling people about.
Hey, we're going to have a boat to give away. That's going to be given away by Chad Hall. He's going to tell us a little bit more about that right here.
Chad Hall, once again, you're involved with the Pennsylvania Outdoor Life Expo. Tell me a little bit about the business right now. Are people buying boats? Are they thinking fishing?
Don, it's been a great year so far. We started shows in January, and every show we've had has been fabulous. Traffic through the doors, everybody's excited to go fishing and get rid of the snow.
Once again, you're offering us one of our grand prizes. What are we going to give away here this year at the Expo?
This year we're giving away a 14-foot low, fully equipped. It has a bow mount trolling motor, 43-pound thrust. It also has a live well in the front that is divided, painted trailer. You've got 2 fishing seats. It's got an X48 Lowrance in the back to find fish and also see the depth of the water. And Mercury's giving us a 40 or 25 horsepower motor, electric start. Just push the button.
Now, that's more than enough to push this boat?
That's more than enough to push this boat, yep.
Susquehanna River fishermen, they'd probably
love it.
You'd kill for this boat.
You got that right, yes sir. They'd love it.
Now tell me a little bit about the setup here. Would you be able to stand here and fish? Would you be able to stand up here and fish?
You can fish anywhere in the boat that you want to. This seat is fixed in the back of the boat for your driver. Okay. The pedestal seat that is here can move to the right, or it can come up in the front pedestal on the bow of the boat.
Like the Bass Pros do,
correct,
right?
Yep.
If I'm sitting at home saying, I don't know that my vehicle could pull this, what vehicle would
Any mid-sized car or SUV will pull this boat. You've got a total package weight of around 1,500 pounds, so it's actually the ideal boat for any fisherman. This is our #1 selling boat that we have to run the river with, as far as in 14-foot for your average family.
Chad, thanks for that information on what I think is a wonderful boat, Jake. I'd love to have that. Fortunately, I already have one, but you know.
And you can't enter anyhow.
No,
bud.
it doesn't matter. So me and my family are out. But
now just think if you win that the week before the trout season opens at our
What a
expo.
great deal. And we're going to have some other great grand prizes at the expo as well.
Yes, we are. From Susquehanna RV, they said, Jake, why don't you give away something that people can sleep in when they're out on a camping trip? So that's what we're doing. Susquehanna RV of Selinsgrove is going to give away a StarCraft folding camping trailer. It's in their Model 170L series. It sleeps 6 people. It's a StarCraft. It's got water hookup and a tank, electric hookup, a gas stove with it, easily towed, easily set up. And I'll tell you what, both of these grand prizes will be at the Pennsylvania Outdoor Life Expo with free grand prize entry. So you don't even have to know, free parking, free admission, and free entry into that.
Well, that's a good deal. You can't beat that anywhere.
Well, we're still putting together all the information on the expo, along with the deer box that we'll be giving away, and we'll tell you a little bit more about that as we go along, with antler measuring and a fish pond, and we got tons of stuff going on.
There's so much going on. This is going to be a great show. You're going to miss something if you don't get to this one.
Yes, it is. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we are going to tell you a little bit more about the expo and give away some neat products. Welcome back to Pennsylvania Outdoor Life. We have to show you some of the things that we're preparing to sell down there, but as a collector's edition. First of all, these are not ready right now for production, so we're not going to be giving this away. We are, with Top Calls of Renovo, creating the Pennsylvania Outdoor Life limited edition turkey call. Each one of these calls will be laser engraved with the Pennsylvania Outdoor Life logo, the top logo, and on the other side, the Channel 16 logo. But here's the reason why this will be a collector's edition, is each one of these calls will be numbered. For example, this is 1 of 500. Now, this call is not prepared to be given away. We will be giving some of these away in the future, but this sounds great. I'm not sure I'd hunt with it, but this sounds excellent.
That's a collector's item.
It is a collector's item, and these will be on sale at the expo. We are going to sell these and reasonably priced.
We will have these reasonably priced at the mall. You see our logo. It's in camo. You can wear that to hunt with, and we're going to give these 2 away right now,
Okay,
Jake.
to a lucky viewer. We're also working on some glasses to give away. We're also working on some T-shirts and stuff like that, just some neat things. We want people out there wearing the Pennsylvania Outdoor Life logo, so each one of these things will be very, very easily
Hey, we got
purchased.
an easy one. This is going to Tyler Samsel from Mifflinburg, Pennsylvania.
Hey, Tyler, congratulations.
Yeah, way to go.
Much more. Now, you're going to stock trout for us next week,
Yep,
right?
we'll be out stocking some trout.
Was that
Lots
fun?
of nice. Oh, it was great. We stocked a lot of biggies.
Okay,
Oh, yeah.
and I'll have a jig making story, and we're gonna have much more on the expo. So you have a great week. Enjoy the great outdoors. For Pennsylvania Outdoor Life, I'm Don Jacobs, along with Ken Hunter. I forgot who I was. Good night.
See you later.
Pennsylvania Outdoor Life is a local presentation of WNEP-TV. We're proud to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania.
Thank you for joining us for a look back at POL Classics. Now I'm going to invite you to join us every Sunday night at 6:30 on WNEP+.